Deadpool is a new movie about any pool in Flint, Michigan. Not funny, asshole. Deadpool is a new movie directed by Tim Miller and starring Ryan Reynolds, Morena Baccarin, TJ Miller, and Ed Skrein. This is not your normal superhero movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's very vulgar, very over-the-top, and hilarious. In the movie, Ryan Reynolds plays Wade Wilson, a former special operative who is now a mercenary. He's a wise ass, he wears a shirt with B. Arthur on it, and he hangs out in a bar that's kind of reminiscent of the hotel from John Wick. The movie has a lot of character going for it. It's really, the high point of the movie is the movie's just overall feel, the comedy it has going. As I said, he wears B. Arthur on a fucking tank top for some reason. In the movie, Wilson meets and falls in love with Vanessa, played by Morena Baccarin, who apparently can only play hookers. She has played more hookers than I can count. Okay, I can only count to one. After they fall in love, there's a really hilarious montage, and then you find out he has cancer. This shouldn't really be a spoiler, as it's in the trailer, and it's kind of the whole premise that gets the plot really going. Anyway, you find out he has cancer, and then he has to undergo this kind of special medical procedure to try to save his life, and this experimental procedure is what turns him into Deadpool. It activates mutant genes in him that may have been dormant, and turns him into this unkillable, crazy motherfucker. Ryan Reynolds really embodies the character. You feel like he really loves and knows the character. And he has great chemistry with everybody. He's great with TJ Miller, he's great with his blind roommate, which he says fucking crazy things to. It's an old woman that he just says all sorts of rude, crude, and funny shit to. And he's great with Morena Baccarin. He also has some great interactions with Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Those are the only two X-Men in the movie, which he makes reference to a couple times. He breaks the fourth wall almost constantly, and that's great too. He references not only things about the movie's production, he references actors that play the characters, which is great. You'll see in the movie a magazine cover showing Ryan Reynolds as Sexiest Man Alive and one of Hugh Jackman. This really isn't your typical superhero movie. He's vulgar, he's not really heroic at all. It's a hard R movie, there's lots of blood, beheadings. It's also kind of low stakes, which is great. The world's not going to end if Deadpool fails. It's very kind of small and self-contained, which is refreshing, because you don't need to have a city being lifted in the air for every movie. You don't need to have people invading New York City for every movie, or aliens invading New York City. You can have it be just something smaller and personal, and this movie does that. And it feels great doing that. And it's hilarious doing that. It's probably more of a comedy even than it is a superhero movie. If you can manage being more of a comedy than a superhero movie while having your central character be essentially a superhero, you've done something kind of amazing. For the bad side of things, not every joke lands. There's quite a few jokes that actually fall flat for me, and that does detract a bit. Also, Ed Skrein. Ed Skrein plays the villain. He's just kind of a stereotypical villain, which they reference right away. He's just kind of one note. He's serviceable. He's serviceable. That's the best I can say for him. He's not terrible. He is serviceable. So again, this is not your typical superhero movie. It's over the top. It's R-rated. It's vulgar. It's hilarious. On the downside, not every joke lands great, and Ed Skrein is kind of forgettable. That being said, Deadpool is rated A-. So being that Deadpool is a comic book character, and this is an R-rated movie, which doesn't happen very often, name a comic book character you'd like to see have an R-rated movie. One that's had a movie or hasn't had a movie, just name one. One I'm going to mention who's had arguably 5 movies is Wolverine. He has fucking claws coming out of his hands. If he fucking swats at you, he's going to cut your arm off, and that has not been an R-rated movie yet, and I don't understand that. He swears quite a bit, and he's gonna chop people apart, but they haven't made an R-rated movie. So anyway, Wolverine would be great to make an R-rated movie with, which from what I've actually heard this past week, it sounds like it's finally gonna happen. So again, name a comic book character you'd like to see have an R-rated movie. Make your mark below in the comments section. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. skunky. Deadpool is Hollywood's apology letter for X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's right, it's supposed to be a fake intro. Yeah. So again, as I mentioned, this movie breaks the fourth wall quite a bit. It's one of the better parts of the movie, just like all the references they make to Hollywood and the different actors. It's breaking the fourth wall is really fun. Yeah, like breaking the fourth wall is really fun, like I'm doing right now. Woo, breaking the fourth wall. What? What this idiot doesn't seem to realize is that I can't break the fourth wall because I'm constantly talking to you. There's no fourth wall to break. Dumbass. So there are two X-Men in this movie, Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Now, Negasonic Teenage Warhead has never been in an X-Men movie and probably won't ever be. Well, now maybe, because she's kind of popular, probably, from this movie. But Colossus was in X-Men 2, X-Men 3, and Days of Futures Past. I don't think he was in the first one. But anyway, he was in those movies played by a different actor, and when he turned into metal, steel, whatever, he didn't look like he looks in this movie. So it's not really part of the same universe, but there is talk about them connecting Deadpool to the X-Men franchise, which I really think would be fucking stupid. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall constantly, which is funny, and it works great in this movie. This movie is essentially a comedy, though, and the X-Men movies, especially if you look at like X-Men Days of Futures Past and X2, they are very straightforward. Not like they have funny kind of parts to them, but they're not comedies. And if you have a character in there that breaks the fourth wall, it would ruin the integrity of the movie, and it would really take away from it. So I really, really hope that they don't do that. You can bring X-Men into the Deadpool movies, but you can't bring Deadpool into the X-Men movies, or have it really count when the X-Men are in his movies. If you do that, then it'll create an even stranger universe and timeline than they've already done. So please don't do that, Hollywood, or 20th Century Fox, please don't. He's already in the movie, technically. Days of Future Past erased a bunch of shit, but it did not erase Wolverine. All the time. Did it? Oh, it did. Huh. Okay, so I guess it already did erase Deadpool. Well, the Wolverine version of Deadpool, the Deadpool, as they called him in that movie. Well, don't cross it over anyway.